Okay, thank you very much, and thank you very much to AWS for giving us the opportunity to speak to you today. Before I get going, I've got a little game coming up, which will hopefully show you some of the capabilities, a bit of fun for you. So if you could just go on your iPhone, your Android, your laptop, type in buttercup.rocks, you'll be sent to a game. You just register a username and password, and in a minute we'll have a bit of fun during this presentation. Okay? So if you just go to that browse, register. You don't need to be on the Wi-Fi, you can just be on 4G, that will work. Okay, so the theme of presentation is security requires visibility. Just before the lunch session, you saw Dave talk about security in depth, and he talked about all the different services that AWS provide to help customers secure the cloud environment. Okay? But crucially, customers need visibility of that data to be able to secure their environment. And that's what we'll talk about today. But to get going, I thought I'd just start with digital revolution. So as we're in this urban environment, this great space that we're in, it's true to say that every different industry is transforming into a digital environment, okay? Whether it's government, healthcare, banking, you name it, this world is happening today. But what's crucial to understand is it's underpinned by data, okay? In this always-on, always-connected world that we live in today, if you think about it, everything is 24/7, we're always connected. Machine data is actually what's at the heart of this digital revolution, okay? What do we mean by machine data? This is data that is produced by machines, that's unstructured, it's always in motion, but crucially, it's time series. So it's an event of what happened. So you log onto a website, you browse to a certain page, you bought a certain product, you checked out, you paid for that, etc. Everything you interact with, either on a mobile platform, a web platform, creates what's called a log. But in that log is a huge amount of rich data that customers want to analyze in real time to help solve a number of key challenges. But the analogy is that there's data we know about, and there's data that's available that we don't know about or use. And there's a huge amount of value in this data that organizations need to get access to in this new digital world, okay? Because it's about understanding in this digital transformation in the world of digital what's going on in real time with your customers, with your IT environments around security. So where does big data come from? Big data comes from machines, and if you think, as we're at an Amazon event, I thought I'd put a picture of a very large data center up. I think they talked about 50 to 80,000 machines, servers running in a data center. But if you think about what goes through a data center, okay, these are all the streams of data. You've got sensors, you've got click streams, you've got servers, security devices, GPS, virtual machines, all generating data. And what's crucial to understand is the volume is massive, the velocity is very fast, certain times, the variability, so different sources of data, looks different, describes data, it's unstructured, it's messy, it's difficult to deal with, but the veracity of it, i.e. this is an actual record of what happened on a system, okay, which is time-stamped and is official, okay? Customers want to get access to this data. And that's what Splunk do. Our job is to help customers get access to that data to solve some key business challenges. I'm going to show you a very fun gaming example to try and bring it to life. But the key ones I'll talk about today is security. We help customers get access to lots of data to be able to secure their on-premise as well as cloud-based environments. And as customers move to more AWS services, this becomes a crucial capability. IT operations is another area, thinking about how the IT service works. And as I said, customers want to understand what customers are doing, particularly in government, healthcare, new ways of dealing with customers. You want to understand that customer experience, and as we go through to other emerging use cases. So, are you all logged in? Can everybody see? Let me just give you a little bit of background. Buttercup is our mascot. Splunk originates from the verb spelunking in American, which is about going around caves, almost like potholing in the UK. And the analogy was looking through logs, trying to find what happened, an error in the code, okay? So is anyone in? No? Anyone in? Few people in? One person? Few people are in? Okay. So let's have a look at this game. So what I'm going to demonstrate to you now is imagine this is Buttercup Games, okay? This is what's going on in real time over the last 5 minutes from you guys playing this game. The idea is you have to keep tapping it to go up and down, okay? And as we can see, this is data that you are using right now, and I'm pulling this off a platform to show you, this is machine data in real time to show you how you guys are using the game. Okay, so I've got, so there's 28 of you playing, sorry, it's 13 people playing, the total number of flaps, because as you play the game, is keeping the horse from flying through the gap, and these are the people here using it. Okay? Now, interestingly, what Splunk's job is to enable anybody to ask a different question of that same data. So if I'm in security, I might be really interested in understanding how you're authenticating to this service, because I'm in security and I'm an authentication guy. So if I go to the authentication tab, what I can now see in real time is how you are authenticating to this game. Okay, so I can see Maria is using her iPhone, and she used her Facebook credentials to log in. People have used Google, etc. And this is the total authentications of the game over time, because this is a worldwide game that's available. If I just did this to the last 5 minutes, I will look to what's going on in the last 5 minutes in this room. Okay? This is what Splunk was invented to do. Collect machine data, collect that data, make it available for customers to ask different questions of the same data to solve certain challenges. Here I'm giving you an example, and I can hear the horses going, of how this works in real time. Okay? And I will now show you how you apply this to an AWS environment and why security and visibility is so important. Hopefully you think that's a fun demo. Carry on playing it, see if you can get top score, and you'll be in the worldwide leaderboard at Splunk. So little fun example, but and then we'll just show another dashboard around the scores, right? So now, and this is what Splunk's job is. I can drill down into any time-based series, 30 seconds ago, a minute ago, 5 minutes ago, and let's see who's doing the best. Let's see who's won. Paul Davis, 18. He's from Splunk. Where is he? He's in the corner. He got 18, highest score. Okay? So, hope that was a bit of fun, and that shows you what we're doing with Splunk. So what I've showed there is a gaming example of, was a gaming example and almost like how product performance, okay? So we have, if you play Assassin's Creed, which is Ubisoft, which is a very famous gaming company, they want to check the security. Think about Sony PlayStation, right? Customer experience. Security is a big concern of organizations, and all these new technologies are being developed and used on the cloud because the customers that they're serving are massive, okay? So let's bring it back to home a little bit around the theme of today. So another example is Gatwick Airport. Gatwick Airport used Splunk Cloud. So just to give you a bit of background, Splunk software, we went all in on AWS some 2 years back. So we run a Splunk Cloud, which is our SaaS service on AWS. And we take advantage of all their global regions. Gatwick is the world's busiest single runway airport. Okay, they have 934 flights a day land into a single runway and take off. Okay, performance and operations of that airport is crucial. Okay, and what they wanted to be able to do was not say what happened, but what is happening and what will happen in our airport. Okay, so they take data in from all the baggage checking systems, the weather systems, the train systems, as the planes land and take off, so they can understand how their airport is operating. They collect all those streams of data and they ask different questions of that data relevant to how the airport is running, all running on Splunk Cloud. City of Los Angeles, they actually won an award from AWS at the Worldwide Public Sector event. They wanted to secure their digital infrastructure. Okay, so the City of Los Angeles has a huge network, if you imagine the internet, but it's 40 plus different city agencies that make up the City of Los Angeles, and they want to be able to secure that environment. So they run Splunk and their Security Operations Center on Splunk Cloud, protecting over 40 different city agencies using Splunk. And then talking about NHS Choices, again, I don't know how much you know about NHS Choices. NHS Choices gets 48 million visitors every month to its website. You can book a GP appointment, you can get access to information in the UK about anything to do with NHS. What are they concerned about? If that website goes down, that's not good because 48 million people rely on that every month. Okay, so we help them protect that availability of that website and ensure that they can run analytics about who's using it. Okay, so some real-world examples in the public sector. of Splunk. So I'm going to go into the AWS security thing right next, but effectively this is what Splunk's able to do. Okay, we're able to ingest any data, put that into a logical environment, and allow different people to ask different questions of the same data, machine-generated data. And customers, whether you're Dunkin' Donuts, whether you're Gatwick Airport, whether you're the NHS, are using Splunk to help them understand what's going inside their IT operations, security, and customer experience. So, I think Dave talked about this extensively before, right? Security, and I think this morning, was it Matt Johnson talked about this, think about building security in every stage of your cloud journey, okay? And on the right-hand side, security requires visibility. If you as a customer don't have access or visibility to what's going on, it's very difficult to be able to secure your environment. So what do we do? Again, you heard about this today. You heard a lot about these. These are AWS services. Okay, CloudTrail, what's going on, identity and access management. We allow customers to bring that data into Splunk and make that available to secure their environment using the Splunk app for AWS. It is a free app that you can use, try for free. You can download this off Splunk base. And you can even start using Splunk for free, which is a freemium model up to a certain amount each day, and start using this. In time, this will be available on AWS Marketplace. And what are we here to help? Why are we partnering with AWS, and why are we working together to help our customers be more successful? Okay, the key areas is we help in security, which I'll talk about in detail. We help you to visualize your topology, so as you adopt more cloud. And we start to also help with billing and usage information. Okay, so AWS have some phenomenal services. We help bring that together in a way that you can access that data. So I'll show you another live demo, which hopefully just brings this to life. So what I'm showing you here is again another. I showed you the Buttercup Games example. This is a platform built for. Imagine you're an AWS customer. Okay, what we're showing you here is these are all your accounts. So you might have a number of different accounts in all regions across the world, and we're looking at the last 7 days. Okay, in Splunk, we can define that down by a particular region. So you might be just interested in the London region that just opened, because you're deploying your workloads in London, but you might be making use of a number of different AWS regions that I think I've got his name right, Matt and Wayne talked about this morning. And we can then look at particular accounts, or we can look for a particular time range, okay? Again, depending on what you're concerned about. As I said, security requires visibility. And this is just an overview page. I can see who's created what configuration changes. So Dave talked about config data, which is a service in how many it creates, updates, deletes. I can see where my traffic is. Okay, obviously there's a big data center on the right-hand side of the United States. Obviously, we're a US company, so we like to, but if I go across here, does it come up? No data over there, but it would show that. And what I can quickly see is, I've got 113 unused EBS volumes. EBS is their storage platform, one of their storage environments. And what I can see is, these are unattached storage. So you're paying for them, but you're not attaching them. So one of the things that you talked about again this morning was helping you have better cost optimization. Someone in your organization may have bought these, hasn't configured it properly, and you're paying for them, not using them. These are resources that you may decide to change, reduce what you're using so that you can manage your costs, because this is just effectively people have spun up an environment and are not using it correctly. And that's a very, very simple example. Another example is then, again, the guys talked about this morning. All those different data sources, we're now be able to put this in a topological view about your environment. So we talked about EC2 instances, which is the server. They talked about EBS, which is storage, and VPC, your virtual private cloud, which is your environment. This is a graphical representation of an example customer running in Asia, in the Asia data center, region. And we're able to see what's going on. And if I was to click on one of these, let's hope it works. Yeah. What I can see is that particular environment, I can see the CPU utilization is 93. That's pretty high. The IOPS, the network traffic, what I spent on it last month, and then I can also go into some of these other data sources. So what we're doing is all those great services that AWS produce, we're able to bring those in, make them available so that you can actually use them to help get better visibility and secure your environment. Specific to AWS, we can see the VPC flow logs, which I can't actually there. Let me show it. Inspector rules. So this is saying, actually, Amazon have inspected that, and there's a config rule that hasn't been correctly configured, and therefore it's a high severity. There's something not configured correctly around security. I can then show the details of that, and I can see there's an instance with the code, did not meet PCI DSS requirement. There are no restrictions set on limiting. So what we're doing here is helping AWS customers secure the data in the cloud by working in collaboration with AWS. Okay, and this is a purpose-built app that's built for that. A couple of other cool things that we can do, just if you're interested. We have this concept of insights. So these are like recommendations. This is starting to lose machine learning. So over time, we learn what's going on. And here, for example, I can tell you what an action to upgrade a particular server. Okay, why might you want to do that? Because it might be running at a constant CPU utilization. So if I was to click on that particular instance, I can see what's going on with it. And the recommendation was to upgrade to a more powerful server, because over today it's running at 95 and it's constantly running over time at 95% utilization. So that might be a suggestion to upgrade your environment. And then billing, again, which is a important thing around cost optimization. We help customers understand from the same app, from the same different data sources we're putting in, the ability to understand how much you're spending and start to predict over time. And we can actually look at security anomalies, because one of the things you might want to do is correlate who's using what, how much they're spending, because actually different teams are worried about spend versus security, and we help bring that together in a single platform. So that's our very specific AWS app that runs on Splunk, and hopefully gives you an example of how you can help secure your AWS environment. And just a couple of quick things to point out. If you're interested, again, I said you could get this for free up to a certain amount. The app's free. You can try this out. And we have reference materials about how you deploy using CloudFormation templates, which you would have heard on a reference material. And we can then get the data. So again, Dave talked about this today. He talked about CloudTrail data config data. We can stream that data using a technical add-on straight into Splunk, which you talked about for your security teams or your operational teams. Or we can actually take advantage in the middle. If you're streaming that straight to S3, we can collect from S3. Or some of the emerging technologies, AWS Lambda, phenomenal technology where we can collect via HTTP. So massive streams of data as an essential way of collecting data and pulling it into Splunk. So great opportunities. A little bit about our certifications, but we fortunately, to get the AWS government competency, we're one of AWS security competency partners, and as I said, over time we'll work with Marketplace. And again, if you want to try it, it's available for free up to a certain amount. You can go to a Splunk page, then bring your own license or use an AMI on AWS, and we will, to be determined, the exact date, be available on AWS Marketplace. You heard about that? We will be one of the vendors available on there. So that was my presentation.
We already run Splunk within government. Just trying to figure out, so the demo that you showed is, it seems like for an unbounded data set, whereas we're running in a similar environment. We're struggling to actually scale Splunk out on an unbounded data set. So do you have any recommendations for what best to do, how to actually expand the cluster size mid-flight and rebalance?
So, can I just ask, could you actually say where you're from?
I'm Allinace. I run the transaction monitoring platform at HMRC.
Okay, perfect. Cool. So yes, so Splunk, the more data you put into Splunk, the more power you need, compute, storage effectively. So we're a big data application. One of the advantages of running Splunk on AWS is that you can actually buy the right EC2 and storage when you need it based on performance. And I can imagine...
This is an unbounded data set.
What do you mean unbounded?
So effectively what we're doing is similar to what you do with HDFS. So we're just adding, we don't have a 30-day window, a 90-day window, 120-day window. We're just appending data.
Okay, so you're constantly building it.
Yes.
Okay, so right, I hear you now. Yeah, so what we do is there's a certain amount of real-time data you need, right? So let's say it's 30 days because your security teams are looking at it, your operational teams are looking at it. What we're then able to do is then roll that data into so there's real-time data that's time-sensitive, right? That is what's happening right now. If you've missed it and it's a month old, security instance probably already happened, right? What we then allow customers to then what we call a Hadoop roll. We enable it to roll from Splunk's in and we roll that into Hadoop, whether that's running on any Hadoop vendor, and you then roll that into much more cost-effective environment because Hadoop's built for a long period of time and ingestion, but still searchable from the Splunk user interface.
You guys work with EMR then instead of having to
Correct.
run Hadoop?
Correct. Okay. So we run on AWS's EMR, and we introduced something called Hadoop roll, which is in the product. You might say after 30 days, take out of the hot storage environment and roll that into Hadoop because it's much more cost-effective storage. I still want to search it, but performance isn't as critical because I'm not in a real-time security instance, for example.
The other question that I had was, sorry, else.
Very specific, good job on that.
So the other question I had was, obviously, when we've put Splunk PS, they're very, very keen that you actually use bare metal, non-virtualized. So how is the recommendation varying for something like AWS, particularly with EBS, which has hugely varying?
Yeah. So we recommend, so we have, again, different types of EC2 instances that AWS provide, different types of storage, whether it's EBS, you've got ephemeral storage, you've got reserved instances. So depending on your actual requirements based on performance, data invert, we can then recommend different options that make the price of the infrastructure running Splunk relevant to what you're trying to achieve. And so we can leverage all different, if you've got data that you don't care it disappears, you can use more different types of storage. Security, yeah. So we have recommended architecture, so if you go to splunk.com, AWS, you can see all those recommendations and options.